Gonna be a long, long, crazy, crazy night. Crazy night. Crazy night. Crazy night.
Officials say the Grateful Dead continues to attract thousands from all over the country. 60,000 tickets were sold for the two-day concert. It's believed to be one of the largest in Oregon history. Police report only a handful of arrests, mainly for the possession of the drug LSD. And it wasn't somewhat sunny when I came in. It was sunny.
Yeah, it was sunny. And Downey.
Ricardo Montalban, Leonard Nimoy, and William Shatner, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan.
Tonight on KATU Channel 2.
Finally tonight, a Catholic priest had no idea what his parishioners would be giving him for a retirement gift. Father Irving Van de High was honored today at a picnic at St. Joseph Parish in southeast Portland. He spent 22 and a half years as pastor there and served more than 4.
ABC News, World News Sunday. Here's Forrest Sawyer.
Good evening. The uneasy peace that has held together the International AIDS Conference in San Francisco came apart today. The anger and frustration many of the participants feel over the government's AIDS policy came boiling to the surface when Health and Human Services Secretary Louis Sullivan stood up to give the closing address. ABC's George Strait was there.
The civility and cooperation at this conference ended as soon as Secretary Sullivan was introduced.
I welcome the Honorable Louis Sullivan, Secretary of Health and Human Services.
The noise was deafening. Sirens, whistles, and shouting from about 200 AIDS activists who tried to prevent the secretary from speaking. He sat impassively and listened to the litany of complaints. Not enough money for research, slow access to experimental drugs, and an immigration policy that discriminates against persons infected with the AIDS virus by barring their entrance into this country. After 15 minutes of taking it, a determined Sullivan faced the crowd and gave his speech.
The truth of the matter is that we need each other, and that will always be so.
It was a generally conciliatory address and defense of the administration's record on AIDS, but it never mentioned the immigration issue. Few in the hall heard it, though, because the demonstrators never stopped.
I thought that America was the country of liberty of expression, so I think they should let him talk.
Is this embarrassing?
Yes.
To whom?
To everyone who's put the efforts into this conference.
Security men ringed the secretary. He had to duck a few paper missiles, but he was never in any real danger. He finished, and the 6th annual AIDS conference ended. Organizers hope the coalition between scientists and activists built during the last 5 days will not be broken by the demonstrations. One thing is certain, though. The future of these conferences in this country is in danger. It's scheduled to be held in Boston in 2 years, but organizers are already looking for alternative sites. George Strait, ABC News, San Francisco.
Gay and lesbian activists celebrated Gay Pride with parades and other festivities all over the country today. Not surprisingly, the biggest parade was in San Francisco, just 2 blocks from the AIDS conference. An estimated 200,000 people turned out. More than 300 floats, bands, and other entries joined the annual Lesbian Gay Freedom Day parade.
World News Sunday, brought to you by MCI.
New MCI Vision gives my business, the big business long distance control, the fortune at 500 get. Why MCI? They see us in the proper perspective.
Introducing MCI Vision, big business long distance for your business.
Last night I dreamt of a burger, not just with relish and ketchup, but mixed with the creamy, tangy zip of Miracle Whip, and it tasted good.
The Zip Dip, just mix and Miracle Whip salad dressing. Don't dream it, taste it.
An important message from Ford Motor Company. For the 10th year in a row, owners of Fords, Mercurys, and Lincolns have reported fewer problems on average than owners of any other cars and trucks designed and built in North America. At Ford, quality is job one.
Aftershocks from last week's earthquake are rattling Iran, more than 60 of them today. The most powerful triggered a landslide that has blocked a critical relief route. A flood of humanitarian aid is pouring into the country, including help from longtime enemies such as Iraq, Egypt, and the U.S. But the casualty toll is still climbing. The newest estimates are 50,000 dead, 200,000 injured. ABC's Jim Hickey has more.
You can see it in their faces. After 4 days, still the shock. Oblivious to the chaos, the old man sits in what used to be his home. They are nearly all homeless here in the destroyed northern Iranian town of Rudbar. 200,000 people, like Sadeh Bakian and his family. This is where they used to live. This is where they have to live now. In tents, 3 or 4 families together. The women try to bring some order to their world turned upside down. This town sits nearly on the border of 2 Iranian provinces, the 2 provinces hardest hit by the earthquake. From the air, the scope of the devastation is incredible. People here say 750 villages are in ruins. In nearby Manjin today, people mourn the thousands who have died. Like neighboring Rudbar, Manjin was virtually destroyed. Nearly everyone in both towns has lost someone close. Many children have become orphans, and they keep finding more bodies. Today's earthquake puts additional burdens on Iranian relief efforts. Medicine is already in short supply. So are other items, so short that such things as a simple water bucket are worth fighting for. But international aid is pouring into Iran, coming from its friends and foes alike. The first U.S. shipment arrived in Tehran today, coming from a non-government group called AmeriCares. The sign says, "Donations from the people of the United States to the people of Iran, with love and kindness." No amount of aid, though, can fully replace what the people in these provinces have lost. Jim Hickey, ABC News, Rudbar, Iran.
In the Pacific, a killer typhoon, Ophelia, has been downgraded to a tropical storm after raking across eastern Taiwan, killing at least 7 people and leaving 35 missing. The storm also left more than 30 dead in the Philippines. Another typhoon, Percy, is heading toward the Philippines after killing at least 1 person on the tiny island of Palau. Now, Middle East politics. Israel's hardline housing minister, Ariel Sharon, made a surprise announcement today. It appeared to be aimed at defusing a Soviet threat to permit fewer Jews to emigrate to Israel. It also seemed to be an olive branch to the Bush administration, which has become increasingly frustrated over the prospects for a Middle East peace. ABC's Dean Reynolds explains.
Less than 1% of the 43,000 Soviet Jews who've moved to Israel this year have settled in the occupied West Bank or Gaza Strip. Yet Palestinians, Israel's Arab neighbors, the United States, and the Soviet Union have all expressed concern that the newcomers might be sent to the territories to firm Israel's grip on the disputed land. The Israeli government has insisted it has no policy of settling the immigrants in the territories, but it would not stop them from doing so. Today's statement from Housing Minister Ariel Sharon appeared to suggest a new policy. In his comments today, Sharon told reporters the new immigrants will not be settled beyond Israel's 1967 borders. But Sharon did not elaborate, and it was unclear if he meant the Soviet immigrants will actually be legally prevented from living in the territories if they want to. In addition, Sharon made no mention of East Jerusalem. Several thousand Soviet Jews have settled there, even though most of the world considers East Jerusalem occupied territory, just like the West Bank and Gaza. Sharon's statement may diffuse some pressure on Israel, but it will probably intensify world interest in seeing just where the new immigrants wind up. Dean Reynolds, ABC News, Tel Aviv.
There was an incident today in East Jerusalem. Police fired tear gas to disperse 200 Jewish residents who were stoning Arab cars. The residents were protesting the wounding of an Israeli girl by Arab stone throwers last night. Now, Eastern Europe, Solidarity leader Lech Wałęsa of Poland may be seeing his hard-fought coalition falling apart tonight. 63 of his most senior advisors and allies broke ranks with Wałęsa over his criticism of the government of Prime Minister Tadeusz Mazowiecki. In a letter to Solidarity's political arm, the group said the National Citizens Committee should be dissolved, and that is a move aimed at eliminating Wałęsa supporters in favor of those supporting the new government.
Dear David, I miss you. I'm still chasing the story through Europe. Don't know where it'll end.
Ambassador,
But you always know where you can reach me.
I got you on an 8 o'clock flight to Vienna and a car to meet you at the airport. Oh, I'm sorry, I couldn't wait.
The longer I'm gone, the more your letters mean to me.
I'm missing you. In my mind, I'm kissing you. I'm lost without you.
Lass mich nur cash.
I practically live at American Express. They take care of everything. Get this. When I had a crazy idea, they even arranged a balloon so I could get pictures. My editor loved them and sent me to Paris. Sorry.
it's been a week. There's no letter today. I'm going home. I'm sorry. I need to book a flight to San Francisco.
But I just got here.
I've been missing you.
Having someone who cares for you wherever you go. Membership has its privileges.
The Volvo 240 does a fine job of surviving accidents. But the Subaru Legacy with four-wheel drive and anti-lock brakes reminds you the best way to survive an accident is not to get into one.
The day may come when all dishwashers will get your dishes sparkling clean and run quietly enough to let you talk on the phone. But isn't it nice to know Whirlpool Quiet Wash dishwashers will do it today?
Nelson Mandela arrived here in Washington today to prepare for the major business of his U.S. tour. He meets with President Bush tomorrow, and Tuesday becomes one of just a few private citizens who have ever addressed a joint session of Congress. Mandela is expected to urge Washington to resist pressure to lift economic sanctions against South Africa as a means of encouraging racial reform. Mandela's African National Congress argues that as long as racial barriers are in place, even efforts at reform can deepen the problems of black South Africans. ABC's Richard Sergey offers a case in point: finding a place to live.
Butiki Tui lives in the house his father built and on the land his family once owned. 20 years ago, the white government took their home away when it became illegal for blacks to have property in Alexandra Township. Ever since, the Tuis have been forced to rent it back. Like many houses in Alexandra, the plumbing is outdoors. Coal provides the heat. And Tui, like 23 million others in this country, has no electricity. They call the ghetto the Dark City. It's a stark contrast to the nearby white world of luxury and privilege. Trying to right old wrongs, authorities say they are willing to let Tui buy back his home, but still not the land. There's another catch. The family cannot afford what it would cost today.
That makes me feel angry, because really it sounds ridiculous buying something that was originally belonged to my father. It means I'm buying the same thing twice.
Many others are even less fortunate. It's estimated that at least 7 million people, 1/4 of South Africa's black population, have no permanent housing. An official in Alexandra admits the problem is only getting worse.
Because if you can get right inside here and see how people are living here, you'll be shocked. And you'll hate me, or you'll hate the council, or you'll hate South African government for the rest of your life.
The demand for housing is so great the government can't keep up and has turned over the burden to private developers. The irony is that very few blacks can afford to buy homes like this one, which are built just for them. Alexandra Township has been called a square mile of misery. For the Tui family and millions like them, the hardships created by apartheid have left little hope that the enormous inequities are about to end anytime soon. Richard Sergey, ABC News, Alexandra Township, South Africa.
Legal news here at home. The Supreme Court winds up its current session this week with rulings on some of the most compelling cases of this term. As law correspondent Tim O'Brien reports, the most watched cases involve the right to live and the right to die.
32-year-old Nancy Cruzan lies in a hospital bed in Mount Vernon, Missouri, irreversibly brain damaged in an automobile accident. Never again to think, to feel, to experience human emotion. A few miles away at her home in Carterville, Missouri, Nancy's parents await word from the U.S. Supreme Court. It will come this week on whether they may remove the feeding tube that has kept their daughter alive the past 7 years.
If Nancy were able to speak to us now, that's what she would ask us to do.
In the most closely watched case of the term, the court will rule whether parents have the right to carry out what they believe but cannot conclusively prove their daughter would have wanted. Or is the state's interest in protecting human life, Nancy's life, so compelling as to override the family's wishes?
You're going to just take about a minute or so.
The state's interest in protecting human life is also before the court in 2 abortion cases. May a state require a juvenile notify her parents before she gets an abortion?
It's a needless law. It's just imposing burdens and doesn't really accomplish anything.
The cases offer the High Court yet another chance to weaken, perhaps even overrule, Roe versus Wade, the 1973 landmark ruling legalizing abortion.
Stand by Studio One.
The justices are also poised to decide 2 important affirmative action cases involving broadcasting. Because minorities and women are so underrepresented in management and on the air, the FCC has given them a preference in the awarding of broadcast licenses. White males who lose out call it reverse discrimination.
I was denied the opportunity for a government benefit solely because I have the wrong skin color.
And finally, the court will use the case of convicted Maryland child molester Sandra Craig to decide whether child victims may be permitted to testify via closed-circuit television. A state appeals court ruled that while it may have spared the child the trauma of confronting her alleged abuser in court, it violated Craig's right to a fair trial. Conviction reversed. The delicate balance of liberals and conservatives on the court makes it difficult to predict just how it might decide these politically sensitive and emotionally charged cases. But safe to bet that these issues will sharply split the court, much as they divide the country itself. Tim O'Brien, ABC News at the Supreme Court.
When we come back, Ray Gandolf and today's sports news.
There's no dashboard light to warn you. No dipstick to check. Yet when warned, they could cause your car to lose control and braking. Don't find out your shocks and struts are worn by accident. Get your shocks and struts inspected at your Monroe retailer soon. Monroe, your safety could depend on it.
A kiss? Not right now. You really don't want to kiss me.
Dangerous. Very dangerous.
Give me a minute, honey.
Don't let morning breath ruin a good morning. Get Scope. Scope has 2 powerful ingredients to kill 90% of the bacteria that cause morning breath.
Didn't I hear something about a kiss?
Right here. Right now.
Kiss me. It is time for a kiss.
Scope, the best thing first thing in the morning.
Hey, you, put that kiss right here.
Mary Brody won't feel the tiny lump in her breast for another 2 years. But she'll discover it tomorrow after her first mammogram, thanks in part to a new X-ray film created by DuPont that makes it safer to start mammography early. And for Mary, early detection means a 2-year head start on the rest of her life. At DuPont, we make the things that make a difference.
Whoever said life begins at 40 obviously hasn't turned 50 yet. We want to extend these good years, so we've made some changes. The right foods, a little exercise, and because our nutritional needs have changed, we take a new multivitamin tablet. New Geritol Extend with all the vitamins we need. It's made for folks over 50. New Geritol Extend, because you're as young as you feel.
Toxic waste.
One of our environment's dirtiest problems may have the simplest solution under the sun. Watch Peter Jennings on ABC's World News Tonight this week.
Time to check in on sports. Ray Gandolf is in New York with a look at how home run wizard Cecil Fielder made it back to the big leagues, and a second golf victory for the amazing Hale Irwin. Ray?
Thank you, Forrest. Well, Hale Irwin, for him, life begins at 45. Just 6 days after winning the U.S. Open in a playoff, Irwin captured the Buick Classic today in Harrison, New York, beating Paul Azinger by 2 strokes. Argentina's great Maradona, who has played more like Madonna so far in the World Cup, sent a perfect pass to Claudio Caniggia, who scored the only goal of that game to beat Brazil. West Germany scored 2 goals in the second half to beat the Netherlands and join Argentina in the quarterfinals. In baseball, Barry Bonds' 13th home run of the season helped Pittsburgh reclaim first place for Montreal in the National League East. From a dismal season last year when they lost 103 games, the Detroit Tigers have played their way into contention in the mediocre American League East. And the main reason is a fielder who is a hitter. Boy, is he a hitter.
Over 300 with 38 homers, so he's shown that he can do it. It drills this deep to center.
A couple of weeks ago in Cleveland, big, burly Cecil Fielder hit 3 home runs in 1 game. He leads both leagues in home runs and runs batted in.
Number 20 for the big man.
He might have been performing these heroics in Toronto, where he was a low-paid, part-time player for 3 years, until the Blue Jays, overloaded with talent, allowed Fielder to go to Japan last year.
In '87, I hit 14 home runs and 175 at bats. So, I mean, I hit the ball, and I just never really got the chance to go out there on an everyday basis. And now I'm getting it, and I'm just making the best of it.
Fielder made $1 million last year playing for the Hanshin Tigers. And except for sushi, an acquired